Hi, I'm Dannaca, and I work at the Village Library here in Pickens. I'm a reference assistant by day, a writer by night, and a reader for life. When I got the chance to give a list of book recommendations for National Library Week, I noticed that a lot of the books had one thing in common. They were books about books. At first I thought this might be too meta, but then I embraced it. So if you're like me and you like to read about readers, pull up a chair and let's get started. We'll start with The Newbie, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This is a surprisingly uplifting book considering that the main character dies almost immediately. Not a spoiler, just a fact. Once Nora Seed has decided to die, she arrives in the Midnight Library and the story begins. The library is filled with books about her life, both the life she led and the countless lives she could have led if she'd chosen differently. It's a beautifully written book about the potential of the human experience, and I think you'll love it, particularly if you enjoyed A Man Called Uwe or The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry. Stepping slightly back in time to 1946, I want to tell you about one of my all-time favorite books, The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. Netflix turned this into a show, but please, please treat yourself to the book before you watch it. It begins with a letter from a woman named Juliet to her publisher, explaining that she doesn't want to write the book she's working on, or anything else for that matter. Letters fly between Juliet and a host of other amazing characters as she navigates a post-war landscape and meets new people on the formerly occupied island of Guernsey. If you like epistolatory novels, history that doesn't read like a textbook, or extremely awkward men, you'll love this book as much as I do. Also, if you have young readers in your house, Annie Barrows, who co-authored this, has a juvenile fiction series called Ivy and Bean that I love as well. Now we can get a little gothic. The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. The atmosphere of this book is intense, and it pulls you in immediately. An author named Vita Winter leaves a letter on the doorstep of a biographer named Margaret Lee, inviting her to come and write her story. She promises to do something she hasn't done in an interview before. She says she'll tell Margaret the truth. This book has everything you need. A beautiful, mysterious woman, a set of twins who live in a world of their own, a fire, and a ghost. It's perfect. If you were a fan of Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca, this is the book for you. Next up, Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. I picked this book up in 2012 for two reasons. 3 if you count the fact that it's obviously a book about books. First, the cover is really pretty, and I've been known to judge on that, even though I know I'm not supposed to. Secondly, the title reminded me of one of my favorite songs from the 90s, Bo's All Night Radio Love Line by Joshua Caddison. Look it up, it's very good. Shallow reasons aside, I'm so glad I took this one home. It follows Clay, who's scrambling for a job in a recession. He's mired in a digital existence, Googling, surfing, coding, doing all that interweb stuff the kids do these days. He sees an old-fashioned help wanted sign on the door of an old-fashioned bookshop and can't help but wonder what the specific requirements the shop owner is asking for mean. It's a little magical realism and a little bit of the magic of the mundane and a whole lot of entertainment. And finally, for a taste of the real world, The Diary of a Bookseller by Shawn Bythell. This is a biography of both the romance of owning a bookstore and the harsh realities of going into the business world. Each chapter ends with a till total and a total of how many customers came into the shop, which shows in black and white exactly how much your local bookstore and library need your patronage. If you like dry Scottish humor, biographies, or you're curious about how many different ways Shawn's assistant Lori can get out of coming to work, this is the book for you. So there you have it, 5 books about books that I hope you'll enjoy as much as I do. If you read any of them, feel free to come in and let me know what you thought. And if you love books about books as much as I do, feel free to leave me your recommendations. Thank you, and I'll see you in the stacks.